Newly uncovered documents from within Russia's intelligence agency reveal a significant shift in Moscow's perception of Beijing, classifying China as a direct threat to Russia's national security. These sensitive internal reports detail extensive efforts by Chinese intelligence service to infiltrate Russian military and technological institutions, specifically targeting advanced weapon systems like the Arsenic missiles. The revelation paint a complex picture of distrust and strategic competition between the two nominal allies, challenging the widely held notion of a unified Sino-Russian front against Western power. The Arsenic missile, a code name referring to a highly advanced secretive Russian missile technology, is repeatedly mentioned in the intelligence document as a primary target for Chinese espionage. Russian intelligence assessment suggests that China is not merely seeking to replicate existing Russian military hardware, but is actively attempting to steal proprietary designs and manufacturing process for next-generation weapons. This focus on cutting-edge technology indicates China's ambition to rapidly close any remaining gaps in its military capabilities, even at the expense of its strategic partners. These intelligence documents, reportedly originating from a high-level defector or a sophisticated cyber intrusion, provide granular detail on specific alleged Chinese operations. They outline methods of intelligence gathering, including the recruitment of Russian scientists and military personnel, cyber attacks on defense contractors, and the establishment of front companies designed to acquire dual-use technologies that could be reverse engineered for military applications. The scope and sophistications of these alleged operations suggest a well-funded and highly coordinated effort by Chinese state security. The classification of China as a threat within Russia's intelligence community marks a dramatic departure from the public narrative of deepening strategic partnership. For years, both nations have publicly emphasized their growing alignment against what they perceive as Western hegemony, often presenting a united front in international forums. However, these internal documents suggest a deep-seated suspicion within the Kremlin regarding China's long-term ambition and its willingness to exploit Russia's vulnerabilities. The Arsenic missile is described as a game-changing weapon, possessing characteristics that would significantly enhance the offensive and defensive capabilities of any military. Its specific technical details remain classified, but the Russian intelligence reports underscore its strategic importance. The alleged Chinese efforts to acquire this technology are viewed by Moscow as a direct challenge to its military technological superiority and a potential risk to its national defense. The fear is that if China successfully steals this technology, it could undermine Russia's strategic deterrent. The documents also highlight concerns within Russia about China's growing economic influence in regions historically considered within Moscow's sphere of influence, particularly in Central Asia and parts of the Arctic. While not directly related to military espionage, these economic concerns contribute to the overall perception of China as a long-term strategic competitor rather than just a partner. The intelligence reports indicate that Russia is increasingly wary of China's Belt and Road Initiative and other investment that could dilute Russian influence. The United States, under President Donald Trump, has been closely monitoring the relationship between Russia and China. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has previously expressed skepticism about the true depth of their no-limit partnership, suggesting that underlying tension and rivalry would eventually surface. These leaked documents would seem to validate those assessments, providing concrete evidence of the strategic distrust that exists beneath the surface of their public camaraderie. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has likely reviewed these intelligence assessments, which would inform the U.S. government's understanding of global power dynamics. The revelation of Sino-Russian espionage could significantly impact how the U.S. approached its own strategic competition with both nations, potentially identifying new leverage points or areas for diplomatic engagement. The U.S. might seek to exploit these internal divisions to its own strategic advantage. The alleged Chinese intelligence activities are not limited to military technology. The documents also allude to attempts to gather information on Russia's energy sectors, critical infrastructure, and political decision-making process. This broader scope of intelligence collection suggests a comprehensive effort by China to understand and potentially influence all aspects of Russian society and governance, further fueling Moscow's paranoia. The fear is of a systematic long-term strategy of infiltration. The term spies used in the Russian intelligence document refers to a variety of methods, from traditional human intelligence, HUMINT, operations involving recruited agents to sophisticated cyber espionage campaign. The reports detail instances of Chinese intelligence officers operating under diplomatic cover, as well as individuals posing as academic business professionals and even tourists to gather sensitive information. This multi-pronged approach underscores the dedication of Chinese intelligence to its objectives. The implications of these revelations for global geopolitics are profound. If confirmed, they could significantly alter the current understanding of the international power balance. A Russia that views China as a security threat might be more inclined to seek alternative strategic alignments or to adopt a more independent foreign policy stance. This could create new opportunities for Western diplomacy, though it would also carry risk of increased instability if mismanaged. The Arsenic missile and other advanced weapon systems are crucial to Russia's self-perception as a leading military power. Any perceived threat to its technological advantage is taken very seriously by the Kremlin. The alleged theft attempt highlights the intense competition in the global arms race, where technological superiority is seen as a key to national security and strategic deterrence. The fear of its own technology being used against it or against its interests is a potent driver of Russian intelligence effort. The documents reportedly include specific case study of thwarted Chinese espionage attempts, detailing how Russian counterintelligence agencies have identified and neutralized these threats. While the successes are highlighted, the sheer volume of alleged attempts suggests that Russian counterintelligence is under significant pressure to protect its national secret. The ongoing nature of these efforts indicates a persistent and aggressive Chinese intelligence posture. The economic dimension of this rivalry is also evident. China's rapidly growing economy and technological prowess are seen by some in Moscow as a long-term challenges to Russia's standing as a major power. While Russia possesses vast natural resources and a powerful military, its economy is significantly smaller and less diversified than China. This economic disparity contributes to Russia's anxieties about its position relative to its eastern neighbor. The administration of President Trump, with officials like Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, would be keenly interested in the economic intelligence aspect of these reports. Understanding the economic strategies and vulnerabilities of both Russia and China is crucial for formulating effective trade policies and maintaining U.S. economic competitiveness on the global stage. The intersections of economic and security intelligence is a key focus. The reports also touch upon the potential for China to use its growing influence in international organizations to undermine Russian interests. While both nations often align bodies like the UN Security Council, the internal Russian documents suggest that Beijing's long-term goals might not always align with Moscow's, particularly in areas where their regional interests diverge. This indicates a growing awareness within Russia of China's independent geopolitical ambition. The revelation of these documents could lead to a period of increased opacity and potentially open friction between Russia and China. While neither country is likely to publicly acknowledge such deep-seated distrust, the information contained within these reports will undoubtedly influence their bilateral interactions and strategic calculation. The public narrative of a no-limit partnership may continue, but the reality behind the scene could be far more complex and fraught with tension. The international community will be watching closely to see how these revelations impact the broader geopolitical landscape. A weakening of the Sino-Russian alignment, even a subtle one, could have significant consequences for global power dynamics, particularly in relation to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and competition with the United States, the potential for a realigning of alliance or a shift in strategic priorities make these intelligence leaks incredibly significant. The Russian intelligence agency's assessment of China as a threat underscores the complexity of international relations, where alliance can be fluid and perceived national interests can often override ideological or public pronouncement of solidarity. This internal analysis provides a rare glimpse into the true concerns and strategic anxieties that animate Moscow's foreign policy decision-making, revealing a much more nuanced and potentially adversarial relationship with Beijing than previously understood. The strategic implications extend to various cabinet-level positions within the Trump administration. For instance, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem would be concerned with any intelligence concerning cyber threats or the protection of critical infrastructure that might be gleaned from these reports. Attorney General Pam Bondi might examine the legal ramifications of espionage activities against U.S. allies, while Director of the Central Intelligence Agency John Ratcliffe would be deeply involved in analyzing and verifying the authenticity and implication of such intelligence. The focus on military technology, specifically the Arsenic missile, suggests a high-stake game of industrial and military espionage. This is not merely about gaining an edge, but about ensuring national survival and maintaining a deterrent capability against potential adversary, which, according to these documents, now implicitly include China. The stakes are incredibly high for both nations, as military technological superiority is a cornerstone of their respective security doctrine. The reports provide an unprecedented look into the internal deliberations of Russia's intelligence community, revealing a level of concern about China that contradicts the public image of a robust strategic partnership. This internal assessment suggests that despite their shared opposition to Western influence, Russia views China rise with a significant degree of caution and suspicion, particularly regarding its intentions and capabilities in the military and technological spheres. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentation and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.